Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon to all. Today, on the 20th of June, we celebrate World Refugee Day to commemorate those who have been forced to flee war, violence, persecution, and threats to their lives and freedom. For women, children, the elderly, and the disabled among them, their journey is even more perilous. Yet, they took a great risk to their lives and the lives of their loved ones to leave their home behind and cross the stormy seas, the dense jungle, the steep hills, the warring zones, the cold winter, or the blistering desert. All with the hope that somewhere, someplace, although that place might be very foreign to them, they could at least be treated as human beings, a place of safety and dignity where they would not be targeted for being who they are or for their religious and political beliefs. The 1951 Refugee Convention might be 71 years old, but the concept of refugee protection has been around much longer than that. During the early years of his prophethood, in the face of increasing threats to the lives and freedom of his family members and followers, the Prophet sent them to seek refuge with a Christian kingdom in Abyssinia. The righteous king, after listening and giving due consideration to their plight, granted them security and protection, as well as the freedom to continue to practice their beliefs in the kingdom. Now, more than 1,400 years later, we perhaps need to be reminded of the lessons and treatments exemplified by the Prophet for those genuinely seeking protection from threats to their lives and freedom. Although Malaysia is not a state party to the Refugees Convention, we support the Global Compact for Refugees, which aims to strengthen international response to large movements of refugees. For the past decades, we have allowed those seeking international protection to remain temporarily in the country and provided them with assistance and facilitation based on humanitarian grounds. Most of them are hoping to eventually return to their country of origin, while some are resettled in third countries to start a new life. In recent years, the COVID-19 pandemic has further exposed the fault lines in our society, especially for vulnerable groups, including refugees. We have seen increasingly hostile sentiments against refugees from all sides, be it among politicians, the media, and the public. In a crisis situation and when resources become scarce, it is easy to point fingers and put the blame on others. We acknowledge that there is a real need for all stakeholders to come together to bridge the gap in perception, understanding, and awareness when it comes to refugee matters in the country. As the co-chair of the Joint Task Force on Refugee Issues with UNHCR, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs reiterates its commitment to continue to facilitate communication and cooperation between UNHCR and the relevant government agencies. We are grateful for UNHCR's long-standing contribution in assisting the country to manage its person of concerns in Malaysia since the Vietnam War in the 70s. We also commend UNHCR and various CSOs for supporting the government's national COVID-19 immunization program that had enabled the COVID-19 vaccine to be successfully provided to UNHCR cardholders and asylum seekers. The disease doesn't discriminate, and neither should we. Moving forward, the government is currently deliberating on reforming Malaysia's refugee policy that would lead to a more holistic approach in our management of asylum seekers and refugees. Towards this end, we urge the cooperation and support of all stakeholders. Realizing the unsustainability of the current situation in the country, we urgently repeat our call on the international community to intensify burden sharing and resettlement of refugees, as well as to take concrete steps to support the safe and sustainable return of refugees to their countries of origin. As we have seen in various conflict areas in the world, including in Europe, where open wars were thought as to be a matter of the past, refugees and asylum seekers are not going to go away anytime soon. It is thus the collective responsibility of the international community, including Malaysia, to seek realistic and sustainable solutions to the refugee crisis in the long term, in a manner that would safeguard their safety and dignity while ensuring the host country's sovereignty and security. Thank you.